performer himself. Last year's MVP, Santiago Patino, who had 5 goals in the 2022 playoffs, a brace in the final against Lou City, and he is tied among all active USL Championship players when it comes to playoff goals scored.
And he has 7 goals right here on the season despite coming in late. And the last 2 goals that he has scored against Colorado have come in 70 minutes or later. That one in the final was in after 100 minutes plus extra time. So he keeps things interesting. So keep your eyes on him.
So last year, it was for a chance to go to the USL Championship final. Tonight, it's a chance to advance past the opening weekend and get to the second round for either a date against Sacramento or New Mexico. It's San Antonio FC, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, a long-time rivalry. Renews here tonight at Toyota Field as the USL Championship playoffs get underway next. To a USL Championship final in the Western Conference begins tonight in exactly the same place it ended a season ago, and between the same 2 teams. San Antonio FC, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC get together on the opening night of the USL Championship playoffs. We say hello from the broadcast booth with Katie Goodman. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us for this rematch of last year's Western Conference final, Katie. This season, it's a quarterfinal matchup between the 4 and the 5 seed SAFC, the number 4, Colorado Springs, the number 5. The winner meets the winner of Sacramento, New Mexico, which plays later tonight.
You say quarterfinal matchup, but it is going to feel like a final matchup. Anytime 4 and 5 are going against each other, it's going to be tough.
On the other side of the bracket, Orange County and El Paso Locomotive and San Diego Loyal and Phoenix Rising. That makes up the top 8 in the Western Conference. And a San Antonio FC, the defending USL champions, trying to become just the second team to win back-to-back USL championships. just one win in their last 10 matchups coming into tonight. That being said, they have dominated the series against Colorado Springs, unbeaten in their last 10 meetings, and they've never lost to Colorado Springs here at Toyota Field.
And therein lies the catch. Unbeaten in the last 7 matches. They're really heating up now. It's the reverse for SAFC. They're going to have to switch that flip, turn it on here tonight if they want to progress.
Yeah, as you said, Colorado Springs, they started a 7-match unbeaten streak to close the year with a 1-1 draw against San Antonio FC back on the 9th of September at Weidner Field. And for SAFC, their attention, and Colorado Springs for that matter, turns to the playoff performer himself. Last year's MVP, Santiago Patino, who had 5 goals in the 2022 playoffs, a brace in the final against Lou City, and he is tied among all active USL Championship players when it comes to playoff goals scored.
And he has 7 goals right here on the season despite coming in late. And the last 2 goals that he has scored against Colorado have come in 70 minutes or later. That one in the final was after 100 minutes plus extra time. So he keeps things interesting. So keep your eyes on him.
So last year, it was for a chance to go to the USL Championship final. Tonight, it's a chance to advance past the opening weekend and get to the second round for either a date against Sacramento or New Mexico. It's San Antonio FC, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, a long-time rivalry. Renews here tonight at Toyota Field as the USL Championship playoffs get underway next.
Right now, get $1,000 bonus cash on a new rugged 2024 Tundra Special Edition. Hurry in today. Toyota Trucks. Let's go places.
Me time is Melts time. It's cheesy, so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just $6.99. Enough for 2, price for 1. Pizza Hut Melts, just $6.99.
Playoff soccer underneath a beautiful moon and a beautiful night here in South Texas as we begin the 2023 USL Championship playoffs, the 4-5 matchup to begin the Western Conference playoffs, San Antonio FC and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. As we take a look at starting 11s for both sides tonight, beginning with the visitors from Colorado Springs. Romario Williams up top, 15 goals, matching a career best from 2017 when he was in Charleston over 29 matches. And Christian Herrera, the 26-year-old from Las Cruces, New Mexico, in net, he went 13, 10, and 3 in 26 starts over the regular season with a 1.12 goals against average. And for San Antonio FC and their familiar 3-4-3 formation here tonight, as again we talked about Santiago Patino, Batani Oluwaseyi finished 3rd in the Golden Boot race with 17 goals in just 25 appearances a season. Nick Marsman came on for the final 5 matches, and he gets the start tonight as the keeper for SAFC. Went 1-1-3 in those final 5 matches of the regular campaign. So SAFC in a 3-4-3 formation. Colorado Springs, you'll see them in a 4-1-4-1 formation here tonight. SAFC in their championship kits tonight, black trimmed in gold. Colorado Springs in their powder blue kits tonight with white shorts, navy blue trim. Center referee for tonight's match, Alexis De Silva, Ricardo Ocampo, Seth Barton, the assistants, and Eric Tattersall is our 4th official this evening. As we get set to kick off the 2023 USL Championship playoffs on the western side of the bracket, 3 of the 4 matchups taking place tonight. The 4th one will finish off tomorrow. It has been 1,643 days since Colorado Springs last beat San Antonio FC. Will the script flip here tonight, or will San Antonio FC continue what has been their domination in this all-time series against their rivals from Colorado Springs? Colorado Springs, which came into USL Championship a year ahead of San Antonio in 2015, SAFC in 2016, and we are underway here in the USL Championship playoffs with Katie Goodman and our entire crew. I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us here this evening.
Dan, you talk about how Colorado Springs have not won since 2019, and they've got an extra chip on their shoulder to play for. Not only are they trying to prove, hey, we can beat this SAFC side, but they had the conference final stripped from them. So you know they're playing a lot more here tonight.
Temperature at kickoff tonight is an unseasonably warm 84 degrees for late October. Not much of a breeze at all, so wind will really not play a factor in tonight's matchup, and the conditions on the pitch are not humid at all. So should be a great night for soccer, a little on the warm side, but nonetheless, you can't beat playoff soccer when you get to late October here. We'll see how San Antonio FC begins tonight. Santiago Patino, and it's the captain, Matt Mahoney, with SAFC in an offside position as the flag is up on the far side.
And almost successful there on that transition, and that's the thing about these two teams. They're both transition teams. You're going to see the ball in the air in the lot. You're going to see a lot of quick play. Both teams, the key here is just win that first and second ball for both of them. And of course, getting more into specifics for SAFC, we know that they're a team that defends as a unit. That weak side is almost always available to them. Colorado, that's something they're going to want. Colorado Springs, it's something that they're going to want to exploit there. SAFC, they have to take advantage of those set piece opportunities and do what they do best, which is bringing that direct style of play.
SAFC finished with a record of 14 wins, 6 defeats, and 14 draws. The 14 draws matched a USL Championship record. SAFC was 7-1-9 in their 17 matchups here at home. Colorado Springs went 16-13-5, finishing with 53 points. They finished 3 points behind SAFC in the table. They went 7-9-1 away from Widener Field. But it was the difference of these two clubs and how they finished the year, as we touched on in the open. SAFC had just one win in their last 10 matches. It was a convincing victory against Orange County in late September here at Toyota Field, but they had 7 draws out of their last 10 matchups. Meanwhile, Colorado Springs went 5-0-2 in their last 7 matches, unbeaten as they come into the playoffs. So two clubs kind of coming in riding different waves of momentum, Katie.
Right, Colorado Springs here heating up, but for SAFC, it's not necessarily that things are bad. They still have the most goals in regular season for the USL Championship, 63 goals, and also the most goals for a single season for San Antonio FC. So it's not for a lack of scoring goals, it's just a lack of getting that final result.
It's Malik Foster, the Jamaican, as he tries to play a ball in the direction of Romario Williams. It's broken up, and then Foster is tripped up, but the referee says play on. Colorado Springs Switchbacks, Al Marcina touched on a club with a lot of speed, as we have 2 injured players down now here. It's for SAFC, Jorge Hernandez in the middle of the park, and for Colorado Springs, Malik Foster remains down back to the left of Nick Marsman. Last year, Katie, this Colorado Springs club may have had the best speed in all of USL Championship with Haji Berry and Mishi Galina. This year, not as much speed, but it's still a club that when you think of the likes of Foster, who gets back to his feet, who's been doing this a long time in USL Championship, and then Romario Williams and Jairo Henriquez up front along with Juan Tejada. They possess a lot of speed that can give their opponents fits.
And let's not forget about Devin Speedy Williams, also referred to as Speedy Williams. Coach mentions he's a really quiet leader, but it's his quick feet is what gives him that name. His ability to stay composed under pressure, be that leader on the field, on and off. So yeah, lots of speed here. You're gonna see a ton of pace.
And markedly different styles for both clubs. Colorado Springs, a heavy possession club. They played it at 51% possession for the season. SAFC at 44% possession. Colorado Springs completed almost 12,000 successful passes this year, nearly double what SAFC did, which finished with just under 5,900 successful passes for the season.
As you see, they're a team, they love to use the width. Anytime you have 4 in the back, 4 in the middle, you're going to see a ton of width. They love to get up into the corners.
And here's Enriquez volleying it along. Slightly dangerous there before Nick Marsman comes away with it and promptly directs it to Stephen Hogan, who's on in his first year as head coach for Colorado Springs. Came along with Brendan Burke 2 years ago. It's really turned around the fortunes of this Colorado Springs club. They had missed the playoffs in 4 consecutive seasons, from 2017 to 2020. And then Brendan Burke got him moving back in the right direction. Burke went on to Houston Dynamo to become an assistant in the offseason. Stephen Hogan was his top assistant for the 2 years that Brendan Burke was in control, and promoted to the head job, and has done a nice job in his first go-around as a head coach in Colorado Springs.
Always tough with a new coach coming in for both players and coaches alike. You know, you're typically working with a roster that maybe you not necessarily have recruited, but he said going into this season, he had already had eyes on a ton of these guys here on the field, and he knew what the pieces he needed. They needed to fit that identity of the team, that possession-based style, that grit, something that Switchbacks are known for.
Longtime assistant to Brendan Burke, and we've seen that across USL Championship assistants, or their head coaches, when their head coaches depart, whether it's to Major League Soccer or other places, the assistants will tend to stay and take the opportunity to become a head coach. That's what Stephen Hogan has done. And interestingly enough, there's only 5 players from this Colorado Springs club, as Fabian Garcia gets fouled by Romario Williams. Only 5 players on this Colorado Springs club that played in the Western Conference Final a year ago. So it's a little bit of a different look, whereas for SAFC, and 9 players on the roster that appeared in the Western Conference Final.
And to that point, Coach Hogan mentioned how important it is to have any returners at all, whether it be 5 or 10. SAFC, they have got it down. That core is just as important as, you know, bringing in a center forward who can score up to, 25 goals plus. At least those are in the words of Coach Hogan, and something I agree with.
Matt Mahoney has been their stalwart in Colorado Springs, as over the course of 3 years there has made 93 appearances. It's going to be a foul on Fabian Garcia with a confrontation again in the middle there with Romario Williams. As you see it again, Williams nearly in almost a dangerous boot situation there.
Not surprised things are chippy early on.
Well, they actually are going to call Williams, beg your pardon, for the infraction. So it looked like we were going the other way, and Williams does get called for the dangerous boot. So it is a set piece for San Antonio FC here in the opening minutes.
One of my keys for this match for SAFC was taking advantage of these set piece opportunities. They'll probably have quite a few, knowing the physicality of this game, but they've got to make something happen here.
So it's Jorge Hernandez over the ball here, and headed down by Taniel Luashei, but handled relatively easily by Christian Herrera. Herrera was on the bench last year as he watched Jeff Caldwell lose 2-0 in the Western Conference Final, but he became the #1 starter here in Colorado Springs upon the departure of Caldwell. As you'll see the replay on the set piece with Tanny getting up, Herrera letting that go wide of him. And Herrera, 26 years of age, he seized the #1 job. They brought along Joe Kuzminski from Charleston Battery, who'd been Charleston's longest tenured keeper over the past 6 seasons, but give Christian Herrera credit. He got the opportunity to be the starting keeper and took it and ran. He was actually on the bench for quite a while in lieu of Kuzminski, but then it was that game against SAFC where Herrera got back in as the starting keeper. Colorado Springs plays to a draw, unbeaten in 7, and Herrera has backstopped each of those 7 matches.
Well, there must be a method to it then. And that's the hard part for these goalkeepers, is they're really limited to one position, whereas field players, they can come in and do anything, anywhere. Case in point is Duke Lacroix out there, outside back. He was actually a center midfielder for a long time. Coach mentioned he wanted him to play that outside back role like a center midfielder mentality, connecting really well with the top 3 or 4 guys in the attack. You can see here trying to make that switch. Not a bad header there from Shannon Gomez.
Yeah, you've got 2 quality players on the outside for Colorado here with a foul called on Mahoney in the midfield. But Duke Lacroix, who you mentioned, runs on the left side wing after 2 years in Sacramento, his first year in Sacramento Republic. And another former Sac Republic player, Drew Skundrich, who originally began his career as a forward in USL Championship with Sacramento and converted into a wingback defender. He'll play on the right side, opposite of Duke Lacroix, with the veteran James Musa in the middle after several years with Phoenix Rising. And the captain, Matt Mahoney, we mentioned before, really is the one consistent factor for Colorado Springs under the Brendan Burke, Stephen Hogan era.
Again, consistency so important there. A back line that has really worked wonders there for the Switchbacks, but same for SAFC. The 5 guys in the back you're seeing here with Shannon, Mitch, Fabian, Carter, and Connor. Those are the guys that won the championship last year, and that's what Coach Marcina's been sticking with this whole time. At least in the last couple of games, rather.
Fabian Garcia appeared in 32 matches and led SAFC in total minutes, 2,790 in the regular season for Garcia. 58 total appearances now with SAFC. These two clubs played the third weekend of the regular season all the way back in March here at Toyota Field. SAFC was a much different looking club at that point. And SAFC earned a 1-0 victory in that game. And we talked about the game that got Colorado Springs going on the 9th of September, a 1-1 draw. In that match, it was the youngster, the 17-year-old Academy player, Marco Rios, who scored in that match. He is not in the 18 tonight. Could play a role for them, though, if they advance on after this weekend. And SAFC will have the first corner of the evening as Matt Mahoney heads that one out.
It was one heck of a matchup there, and really gutsy there from coach to bring a 6-year-old into such a physical game against a team like SAFC. You know, they're kind of next level fitness, next level physicality here in the USL Championship, but he held his own. He was there in the right place at the right time, and he scored that goal.
SAFC had a lot of corners against Colorado Springs, 24 of them, in fact, in the, or excuse me, 8 of them in the first matchup here back in early March. 24 total crosses. Mohamed Abu with a fancy footwork. Hernandez across the face, a goal. Set up here. And Ja'Cory Hayes at the top of the box drives it out of Toyota Field over section 115. That ball was sitting there and it was looking for a runner. It landed at Ja'Cory Hayes' feet outside the box and he sends it out of play.
Talk about some quality stuff there here though from SAFC. The cross in was good, just had too much daylight there on the back post. Good work getting on the end of it. The dummy from Fabian. Ja'Cory takes it. We saw a similar situation back in March when San Antonio played Colorado Springs and Ja'Cory hitting the crossbar, and then Abu was there to gather on the deflection and take a header of a goal away from it that night.
It's a throw awarded to Colorado Springs. Switchbacks, who had the honors this year of hosting the USL Championship Showcase in August, showing off the beautiful stadium, Widener Field in downtown Colorado Springs. It's a stadium that they opened back up in April of 2021 and kind of has changed the fortunes of this club. As the flag is up for an offside. Katie, they have gone 46, 26, and 18 since Widener Field opened back in April of 2021.
Are you superstitious, Dan?
Sometimes
a little stitious?
Sometimes I'm telling you, you get a new field, soccer-specific stadium, and it's a gorgeous facility. If you ever have a chance to go out to Colorado Springs, and it has really brought about the community spirit, like we've seen Toyota Field here in San Antonio, and it's become a tough place for visitors to go in and win, much like Toyota Field has.
It's nothing like playing on your home field that you're comfortable with, and you know where the supporters section is. You know when the smoke and the drums are going to come from. It really, really matters. They're really the 12th man out here.
Connor Maloney, who scored the opening goal against Colorado Springs in the final a year ago. As this has turned out to Duke Lacroix outside on the wing. And Juan Tejada, who came over from Indy 11 in early June. Maloney. It was his first goal ever scored in any form of USL Championship play, and he couldn't have picked a bigger moment in the first half a year ago. Skundrich gets up as he volleys that one along. Malik Foster. It's Fabian Garcia with footsteps of Romario Williams coming, and Nick Marsman with the ball at his feet will play it off to Carter Manley. Manley had missed significant time during the course of the regular season, just 14 appearances in total, as Herrera will come out to beat Santiago Patino to this ball. And Manley played just 45 minutes last Saturday night, and hoping to get more out of him, as Alan Marcina, as Katie, you talked about, SAFC hoping to ride the same back five that they did a year ago to a USL Championship final appearance and win.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Totally on board with that, and your back line is not something that you want a ton of variation in, especially in these final few games. Makes sense solidifying that there, but again, tons of depth there on the San Antonio bench. Anyone can come in and handle things there for them. Have a look back at this, and a bit of a bear hug there from Abu.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise start for Mohamed Abu. And even though he made 20 appearances and 13 starts this year, he was in the 18 just twice over the last 9 weeks of the regular season, as a throw awarded to SAFC. And Abu only appeared in just 1 match in the last 9 weeks, but is a quality playoff performer for Alan Marcina. 2 assists and 390 playoff minutes for SAFC. Their playoff leader in terms of minutes, Connor Maloney, who's played in 639 of them over the course of his SAFC career. That's 7 playoff matches. Connor with a goal and 2 assists for SAFC in the postseason.
Both Ja'Cory Hayes and Mohamed Abu, really important pieces in that last matchup in March. It was because of Hayes' banger of a hit going and hitting the post that Abu was able to get on the end of it.
Herrera keeps it out of goal, barely, if he did. Alan Marcina thinks otherwise. Speaking of bangers, that one had Herrera backpedaling into his net.
That he did, and caught me so off guard, I didn't even stop talking. I mean, wow, lucky there. This is where you wish they had the technology as they do in Women's World Cup, where it shows the line if the ball crossed or not.
That was Jorge Hernandez from well beyond the box. Herrera hugging it against the post. Meanwhile, Malik Foster getting to the inside. And well played by Mitchell Tainer. Marsman deposits it back upfield to the direction of Patino, and played by the veteran James Musa off to Duke Lacroix on the left flank. With Speedy Williams working with Jairo Henriquez, and Henriquez turns the ball over, trying to wrap up Patino. Instead, it's Hernandez getting forward, spots Patino, and Patino doesn't catch it well, trying to settle. It'll belong back to Christian Herrera.
It's like Jorge Hernandez got a bit of a knock there. Not a player you want to see out of this lineup if you're a San Antonio FC fan. He's a guy who does so much there in the center of the field. He can get into the attack, he can get in on defense, just an engine that doesn't stop. We'll look back at it here. Yeah, it looks like a bit of a chip, step on the foot.
You mentioned Jairo Henriquez, the 30-year-old from El Salvador. He might have had, Katie, the goal of the year in USL Championship this season. A banger of bangers, a volley to himself, bicycle kick in a victory against Sacramento Republic in a 2-0 win. And it's a 3-time winner of Goal of the Week, as voted on by the fans in USL Championship. Here we'll get our first yellow of the match on Fabian Garcia as he brings down Juan Tejada.
That high kick, anytime cleats are up high, you're gonna get a yellow there. We'll take a look back at this. It's pretty clear. Right into maybe his hand. I'm trying to shake it off here still. But yeah, going back to Jairo Henriquez, that chest trap from a strange angle, volleying it to himself, and then the bicycle. Man. Simply
phenomenal. As you see, Juan Tejada, 6 goals on the campaign, 33 overall appearances. That combined with Indy 11 coming over to Colorado Springs in early June. First real good set-piece opportunity for Colorado Springs here as we cross into the 20th minute of a 0-0 match. Speedy Williams looking to that back post. Mahoney is there, but he volleys it wide of goal.
match has been so fast-paced, it's hard to realize we're already almost 20 minutes in. Lots of action here early on. A lot of times when you have two very similar teams, not a ton of action, but lots to be said here, just 20 minutes in.
And especially for SAFC, the way they play the opening quarter hour of matches. SAFC scored 13 times in the opening quarter hour this year, conceded 12. Those were both league highs in USL Championship for the first 15 minutes.
And, you know, you can tell most of the time how San Antonio is going to end a match just by the first 10 minutes of the way that they start that first half. They came out, guns up, fired up, ready to go. It's a team that looks like they want to move into the rest of the playoff championship.
Saturday night, SAFC gave up an early goal in the 9th minute to Jack Blake. Ended up going down 3-1 to Indy 11 early on in the second half before scoring twice, including the equalizer just before 90 minutes as Patino tries to get free. That ball loose at the top of the 6-yard box, played out. Connor Maloney directs it back in and turned away from goal by Drew Skundrich. Saves the byline in preventing a corner. And Malik Foster back for support. Skundrich really dancing around Taniel Awashe. Don't see that very often. And the former DC United product working it forward, SAFC. Man marking up here in the attacking third. Colorado Springs able to work it across midfield, but a throw awarded back to San Antonio.
Well, Dan, you mentioned Skundrich used to be a forward, now in that outside back role. I think coaches now, especially in the men's professional level, you see a lot of those players who have transitioned from forward attacking roles. They're in the winger, outside back, wing back position because of their ability to take guys on 1v1, get up and connect passes.
Skundrich, 39 appearances in Major League Soccer, as Herrera will handle this one easily ahead of Santiago Patino. When the bright lights of USL Championship playoffs come on, there's no one better than Santiago Patino. His goal finished off Colorado Springs in second half stoppage time. That game wasn't without controversy, though. Late in the second half, Colorado Springs thought they had earned a penalty. One was not called. Would have been an opportunity to equalize at that point. Instead, Patino put away the switchbacks at the end of stoppage time as Abu directs that one out and a throw awarded to Colorado Springs.
That one almost looked like it was going to be a foul there, but ref said play on, right there to see it all.
Switchbacks outscored the opposition 13-4 in their last 7 matches, in which they went 5-0-2. And they won all 3 of their road matches over that 7-match stretch, scoring the opponent 7-2. So again, a club coming in with a lot of confidence despite the fact they've had virtually no success in recent times against San Antonio FC. Carter Manley with the interception. Skips past Duke Lacroix, trying to play in the direction of Santiago Patino.
You know, a lot of players have said moving into this playoff game, they have to forget about the results from regular season. It all starts over again here tonight. And I can guarantee you the Switchback team is feeling the same about their record against San Antonio. They can't carry that here into this game. And they're playing with confidence, clarity, crispness. They look like a team who could really take this.
Well, their next win at Toyota Field would be their first. Malik Foster. Across the face, a goal, and it's taken well by Nick Marsman. Marsman, who came on, as mentioned, for the final 5 matches of the regular season after being released from Inter Miami of Major League Soccer. Longtime veteran, 33 years of age, 89 wins in his pro career. Much of that has been spent in Europe.
Again, always tough. That goalkeeper position, Jordan Farr, brought so much to this team, was in all the last Colorado Springs Switchbacks games in which he saved a PK, made some huge saves in the run of play, and you know, and that's just how it is.
Jordan Farr, part of course, the SAFC club that won a championship a year ago, but he is relegated to the bench to begin the playoffs this season. Abu. Musa in the direction of Tejada. It's Connor Maloney to play back to Carter Manley. And again upfield, Santiago Patino with Musa running stride for stride. And it's Musa who wins the battle this time. Tejada up that left flank. Two watching him with Abu and Manley. Tejada trying to split through, goes to ground, but we play on.
Ref letting a lot go tonight. Got to be careful with these two teams. Things can get out of hand pretty easy.
Don't mind that from the center referee. It is the playoffs. Let the players on the field decide the outcome of this one. Malik Foster, Skundrich getting forward on the right flank. Good tackle there from Tainer, or so I thought. The foul whistled from center referee Alexis De Silva this time.
Tackle was from behind, makes sense for the call, but I agree. Let the players play, let them decide the results rather than stop play and you know, mess up everyone's rhythm and flow.
The second opportunity on a set piece for Colorado Springs, with Jairo Henriquez setting up here over the ball. There's not a ton of height on this Colorado Springs club. Musa stands 6'1", as does Jay Chapman, and pretty much amounts for their verticality, so to speak. As Tejada drives a low ball in that's headed out by Abu. It'll be a throwback to Colorado Springs.
Interesting you say that. When you look back and watch game tape, really San Antonio has dominated out of the air there against the Switchbacks. So if they can find more opportunities to get set pieces, they'll be good. Almost great there from Tejada.
Foster out wide, Lacroix. Stutter step into the box. Save on the attempt there from the veteran Duke Lacroix there as Marsman goes to ground to pick it off the mat.
And one heck of a save there, coming out early as Marsman. And look at him trying to calm his back line down. And that's the case. Sometimes nerves get high, emotions get high in these games. You got to settle.
Musa, oh, Herrera in trouble. Punches that aside. Patino with the tackle. It'll be whistled for the foul. Appealing to the corner assistant there, but the foul was whistled from behind by center referee De Silva. It's Tani Oluwaseyi, who is down inside the box. Duke Lacroix off to the outside.
Going up there against a keeper collision with Dubois, trying to do his best, but this, not really, I wouldn't call that, honestly, because he got to the ball and then he tripped over it.
Duke Lacroix, the veteran, 30 years of age, 9-year professional from New Egypt, New Jersey. Spent time in Sacramento, as mentioned. 164 career appearances in USL Championship, 1 goal and 23 appearances for the veteran this season in Colorado Springs. Herrera plays that out. As Connor Maloney gets set to put it back into play, nearly a half hour into this playoff match. 0-0 at Toyota Field. San Antonio FC and Colorado Springs Switchbacks kicking off the Western Conference side of the bracket tonight. Later tonight, you'll have Orange County and El Paso Locomotive, Sacramento Republic and New Mexico United. Tomorrow, San Diego Loyal and Phoenix Rising. And again, for San Diego Loyal, I've already announced this is their final season in USL Championship, so their next loss will be their last as a member of the USL. Patino into the box, trying to search out Oluwaseyi. Hernandez. Oh, I don't think he got all of it there, and frustrated with himself as he goes to ground.
It's a nice initial touch, trying to get into space there. Just looked like he didn't connect with it the way he needed to. Didn't get that power behind it.
Jorge, 2 goals on the season, but a career best 10 assists. He was the golden playmaker, eking out Canardo Forbes of Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and assists per minute. Both players finishing with 10 assists. Jorge finishing with more assists per minute. Tanny's onside, slips it past Herrera, but it won't have enough mustard to get past the end line.
That's the closest call we've seen all night, Dan. Man, Tani wide open. You cannot give him that kind of space, and I'm really surprised that ball didn't go into the net in that one.
Surprised Tanny didn't give it a little bit more thrust. We've seen the way Tanny can rear back and fire. Instead, almost just tried to knuckle this one in, and it's saved off the line.
Well, I don't think he was expecting it either. You can tell that from his first touch. It was a little wide. He tried to take it on the turn. It got away from him. He tried to tip it in, and it just wasn't a clean effort at the goal. So you can see there, just trying to get on the end of it.
Just wasn't in a position really to catch it. Just a little bit of a touch, but it's saved off the line. And on the ensuing reset, here's Jorge Hernandez over the ball. Good service to the back post, but headed away. Connor Maloney thrown down from behind. I believe that is Malik Foster. We'll see whether he goes into the books here.
Connor Maloney, the ultimate tireless worker. Not surprised he's involved with that.
Romario
he
Williams.
beats him, and then it's a straight up two-hand push.
Looks like Williams stays out of the books here for now.
Things really heating up here for San Antonio. You can feel this momentum building. Well, it feels like only a matter of time.
Again, it's Hernandez. Headed back down, and it's free and directed wide again. It's Ja'Cory Hayes who got the last touch on this ball, just outside the 6-yard area, but he directs it wide at the near side post.
Great service in. None other than Carter Manley back there to get on the end of it. Second really quality header for him. So you can see that last opportunity they had coming up really high to beat the defender with a huge header to Tani's feet, and then now this. Again, they all seem to be on the same page here tonight.
Five unofficial shots, 3 of which have been on target. Colorado Springs 2 shots here in the first half hour, 1 of which has been on target. It's Foster able to run this down. Running on Shannon Gomez. To the inside is Malik Foster. And now Chapman. Up top, Speedy Williams. Foster the turn. Out wide, Duke Lacroix on the left side. Lacroix enters the box. Little cutback. Lacroix with his left. It's blocked. It's free in front. Saved off the line by Shannon Gomez.
This is absolutely a playoff match here, Dan. I mean, one dramatic play after another. Anyone could score at any minute.
Skundrich. As you see, it's opened up here in the last few moments. Chapman. Extensive history in Major League Soccer for Jay Chapman with Inter Miami and Toronto FC. Williams. Oh, he's hauled down from behind. And Fabian Garcia, already sitting on a yellow, has got to be careful.
That he does. Coach Hogan livid over there on the sideline, understandably so. Could have been a really important set piece for them.
Foster. Trying to get the return ball back there from Jairo Henriquez. Instead of throw. Stephen Hogan with his arms up. Said center referee has let the boys decide it on the field so far for the majority of this opening half.
It's definitely made for an interesting game, no doubt. Not often you see a ref allowing this kind of physicality, but it's made for some good soccer.
Chapman. Tejada. Couldn't catch it cleanly. Speedy Williams. Skundrich. Back to Williams. And now Foster. Skundrich with space. The slip ball through Chapman. He was trying to search out Jairo Henriquez and well defended by SAFC. It will result in the first corner for Colorado Springs 35 minutes in.
Henriquez not a guy that you want anywhere near that ball. Coach mentions he's a guy that just really slows the game down. He's patient, he holds the ball, he draws defenders in. As you can see there, defended so well from Abu. Not giving him any chance at that ball.
And Henriquez now will come over to the near stick to take the first corner of the evening for Colorado Springs. It's a good ball towards the back post. Mitchell Tainer able to get up as he climbs the ladder and heads it out. Chapman. Foster. Looking for Tejada. Hernandez. Upfield, Santiago Patino. Chapman able to get back. Colorado Springs getting numbers back.
Team that works great in transition both offensively and defensively. You can see it took San Antonio a minute, maybe running out of a little bit of gas here. Still 10 minutes to go before the half is over.
And Colorado Springs has done well to get 4 back behind the ball whenever SAFC has tried to connect on some of those vertical deep balls. Maloney over the top. Hernandez has been active here in this opening half. Mahoney getting support from Lacroix. Ja'Cory Hayes. Connor Maloney just couldn't pull the trigger. Well, wouldn't that have been something if Connor Maloney, if his next goal came after the goal in the Western Conference Final against these Switchbacks?
I was going to say that seemed really reminiscent of that final and could have been another one. Maybe had he hit that on the first touch, it would have been good.
It would have been about the exact same moment that Connor got the goal against Switchbacks too. Chapman, Speedy Williams, and Henriquez. To James Musa. He's a native of England, but represents New Zealand on the national stage. Lacroix, oh, well done. Past Connor Maloney with some speed up that left side. Into the box, running on Carter Manley. Lacroix keeps it in play. And a good step there by Fabian Garcia to win the ball and shoots it off Lacroix to belong back to SAFC.
Tell you what, it's not often you see Carter Manley beat on a 1v1. He is really great at that, but it's Speedy's speedy feet that came in here. That's what he's known for. It's where he gets that nickname from. Great stuff all the way around, trying to shield it out. Ooh, 2-hand push. Surprised didn't get a call for that. Garcia doing what he does best, stepping in there.
Tejada as he wraps up Ja'Cory Hayes. Whistle for the foul. Ja'Cory quickly trying to search out Oluwaseyi. Volleyed away from him. Patino looks to settle. Back into the middle of the park. Foster. Hernandez on the ball. Shannon Gomez trying to return back to Jorge Hernandez and trips up Drew Skundrich in the process.
Jorge Hernandez all over this field here. So great at pulling defenders in. He was starting to do that, then broke free there for the run. Almost successful, just needed a little more oomph on that chip, a little more leverage.
55 chances created this season for Jorge Hernandez. That was 9th overall in USL Championship. You see the possession numbers, not surprising. 66-34 Colorado Springs, but they're a club that is more disciplined with the ball, SAFC. They found success last year, not being a team that knocked the ball around in their third of the field. Don't expect it to change here as the playoffs begin tonight. And again over the top, it's Ja'Cory Hayes trying to search out Patino and ends to Herrera. The good thing about Christian Herrera is that he doesn't have that moment of hesitation, Katie. He knows when he's coming out to the top of the box, he's going to come out and claim the ball regardless of whether it's Tani Oluwaseyi or Santiago Patino running at him.
Right, confident and committed, fearless, everything you want in a keeper. He's bringing it here, and he's able to do that because he knows his back line so well. Not a ton of variation in those back four. That always helps a keep.
It's Hernandez here. Oluwaseyi, Patino trying to open up. Patino drives it on just wide. Good look there for playoff Patino, but he puts it past the near side post.
Say that 5 times fast. No, but seriously, what a near miss there from Patino. It's only a matter of time here.
That's Connor Maloney ahead of Tejada. And back up the field we go. 7 shots for SAFC here through 40 minutes. Shannon Gomez. Clipped at the edge of the box. It'll be a free kick awarded to SAFC. As he's hauled down by Malik Foster.
We'll take a look back at this here. Lots of hands here on the jersey. He falls into the box. But of course, just shy of the box, so it won't be a PK.
What it is a tough angle set piece, though, from literally a foot or two off the byline here. A couple ways you could play this. You could go a service direct on and try to find a head on that back post, or you could try to work it back out to the top of the box and try to find a runner to get a good look at it straight on.
They picked up on trying to camp out at the 18. Nobody really sitting there who typically takes those opportunities. Abu still pretty dangerous here, looking like they're about to put it just right into the mix.
They do indeed. That's free in front. Comes out to Abu. Does not get a lot on it, though, as he couldn't get it through. Clever for Jorge Hernandez in that instance, but unfortunate for SAFC, just did not find a home.
Not a bad near post run there from Mitch. Still calling for the ball.
Oh, nearly volleyed into his own net by James Musa. Instead turns into a corner. Just the second earned by SAFC. A little bit surprising. They've been dominant on corners as of late, averaging just under 9 a match.
Dominant on corners, but not really converting much on those corners. Of course, a tricky chip into the zone there, putting Colorado Springs back into some pressure. Like to see some movement here from SAFC, finding an open post.
Mitchell Tainer, always dangerous in these situations. Carter Manley on the backside as well, too. Keep an eye on him. Here's Hernandez. Whips the ball in the direction of Manley. Misfires and comes out, and awarded a throw to San Antonio.
Almost another corner, but at this point, throw-ins feel like corners when you have one that high up the field. Back at it here. Misses everyone in the box.
The throw for Tainer, and headed right out off of Shannon Gomez. Gomez trying to nutmeg his way past Malik Foster.
I applaud the effort. He had Abu there in the back. You saw Tainer trying to create a run and some spacing for him.
Ja'Cory Hayes concedes. Chapman back to Skundrich.
Something Coach Marcina wanted in this match was an attacking mindset from his wingbacks. You've seen a lot of that there, so also explains Shannon's decision in that moment.
Tejada, a push in the back of Jorge Hernandez will land him into the books, I believe, of Da Silva, indeed. Juan Tejada in the 44th minute served the first yellow of the evening for Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
A lot of two-handed pushes and bear hugs out here tonight. Both sides.
Almost one you had to call, send a message as the center referee Da Silva does right here.
So it looked like his momentum wasn't helping him there in that moment either.
So Garcia sitting on a yellow for SAFC. Tejada sitting on a yellow for Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Jorge Hernandez again over the ball. Can SAFC cash in before the half? As Herrera lets that go harmlessly wide. It has been, Katie, a well-played first half, I would say, by both sides. Have been able to generate on the attack, and I'm sure both coaches will be pleased to be 0-0 after 45 minutes if this is how we finish, with just 1 minute added time here at the end of the first half.
Right, not a ton of complaints or weak spots. I mean, there were some services into the box, maybe on corner kicks, that would have, you know, if those services in would have been 100%, could be different. The finishes could have been better, could have been different, but I mean, that goes for both sides, and that's just a testament to the pressure they're both under in this moment. Giving their 100%, 100 miles per hour out here. Yeah,
several more set pieces for SAFC. They've been probably the better of the two clubs, at least in terms of creating chances. But as you pointed out, like with the corners, they have not done as good on those opportunities on the set piece. This ball's dangerous and free, and it's Speedy Williams able to slow it up. No pun intended, back to Christian Herrera, his keeper.
Such an intelligent player. Everyone across the league notices, but of course, Coach Hogan, one of the things he loves the best about Speedy Williams is, yes, he's fast, but he makes great decisions, and the IQ is next level.
Tainer, as the halftime whistle blows, and we're 0-0 after 45 minutes in the first of 4 Western Conference playoff matchups on this opening weekend of the 2023 USL Championship playoffs. Nothing to show for both sides in a rematch of last year's Western Conference final. And the chess match will continue between Alan Marcina and Stephen Hogan. And these players on the field in the second half. Opportunities for SAFC in Colorado Springs. Maybe that was the best for SAFC. This was the best opportunity for Colorado Springs, with Malik Foster putting Nick Marsman to the ground. But we're 0-0 at the half as we continue the USL Championship playoffs on ESPN+.
Spurs would have sent me anywhere, but I knew I didn't need to leave home because Methodist Healthcare provides world-class care right here in our backyard. Whether it's transplant services, heart health, or cancer care, Methodist Healthcare has us all covered with the top programs in the city and the entire state. Expertise matters. Stay close to home and choose Methodist Healthcare for all of us and our families.
At H-E-B, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the H-E-B Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors. From savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. H-E-B Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
For me, starting out in this business, it was very overwhelming and also exciting. My name is Casey Hanlon, and SWBC PEO really helped propel my business. They have automated payroll systems for me. They helped create my employee handbook, and they have over 45 experts that know how to handle just about anything employee related. I could not have one person do the job that SWBC PEO does for us. Our partnership is not just business, it's a relationship.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
The battle starts today.
Wheeler tries to help it along. It's Enriquez in the middle. It's Jairo Enriquez! Oh!
Cuejo! Oh my! Now, it's time to fight to the final whistle and beyond.
And the crowd is losing it here.
It's time to put it all on the line. It's time to shine.
Life moves fast. No one has time for a car, truck wreck, or commercial vehicle accident. At Davis Law Firm, we get it. When you call the force, you don't have to worry about insulting offers from insurance adjusters, property damage, or car rental. One call solves all. We recently settled a wrongful death case in a commercial vehicle accident for $5 million. I'm Jeff Davis. If you were in a car, truck wreck, or hit by a commercial vehicle, call the force right now. Call me at 444-4444. You got it. There's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Texas is known for many things, yet one of the best-kept secrets is where the steaks are hot and so are the slots. Down south along the border outside of Eagle Pass, the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel, the best gaming experience in the Southwest, where getting lucky is more than a feeling, it's a way of life. Book now, LuckyEagleTexas.com.
Hey San Antonio, it's Sean Elliott. When I was playing in the NBA and needed a transplant, the Spurs would have sent me anywhere. But I knew I didn't need to leave home because Methodist Healthcare provides world-class care right here in our backyard. Whether it's transplant services, heart health, or cancer care, Methodist Healthcare has us all covered with the top programs in the city and the entire state. Expertise matters. Stay close to home and choose Methodist Healthcare for all of us and our families.
0-0 at the half. San Antonio FC, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC here on the opening night of the USL Championship playoffs at Toyota Field. As we say hello once again from the broadcast booth, Katie Goodman, I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Katie, that's, I think, a quality first half for both sides. I think both coaches will be pleased where they are, 0-0. And now the chess match begins as far as substitutes and how you look to adjust going forward to try to find that one goal, because there may actually only be one goal tonight the way this match has gone.
Really and truly, so many highlights already in the first 45 minutes. It looks like it could be a highlight reel for the entire game. We can look back at a few of those here, but essentially both teams bringing it to each other. Jorge with a nice chip in, almost catching Herrera off guard. He saves it in the nick of time. And then here we go. Another test of Nick Marsman there, coming in hot. All great stuff.
Colorado Springs Switchbacks, Duke Laquad, a couple of chances. He created a lot of havoc out there on that left flank in the first half, Katie, with some runs on Connor Maloney there. This was maybe their best chance of the half, saved off the line there by Shannon Gomez at the last moment. So not a lot of quality scoring chances, I should say. A couple of close moments there for both clubs. But you got two teams right now that are sitting in a scoreless battle here as they move forward. We take a look at the first half stats and the numbers from that opening 45 minutes of play, and San Antonio putting shots out there, but only 33% of them on target to this point.
Right. I mean, they're really putting themselves in great positions to score. They just haven't been able to capitalize. That's the key for them moving into this next half, taking advantage of those set pieces, taking advantage of those weird moments when you get the ball off a deflection. That's going to happen a ton in this game. For Colorado, they've got to switch the field with a little more pace. They're doing great, but their opportunities haven't been as abundant or as good as San Antonio. So a lot to go on here in the second half.
So what are you looking forward for both teams in the second half?
just that. I need Colorado Springs to switch the ball a little bit faster, find some pace, find that weak side. San Antonio intentionally leaves the weak side open for every opponent, but they're doing so even more so here, especially Connor Maloney, Shannon Gomez really high up, really testing their outside backs as they're trying to get up. And you've seen that. They're bringing that high press mentality across the board from defense forward. So San Antonio doing a great job there, but we've seen this time and time again with San Antonio. They put themselves in the right position. They don't execute. They don't finish the ball. It has to happen here if you want to go to the playoffs.
As for other matches in the playoffs, the rest of the Western Conference will begin later tonight. You'll have Sacramento Republic and New Mexico United. The winner of this match will meet the winner of that match. El Paso Locomotive and Orange County will also play tonight. In the Eastern Conference, we've already got a couple of upsets. The #1 overall seed, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the winners of the Supporter Shield, out. They are beaten 1-0 tonight by Detroit City. Also an upset making, you've got Birmingham Legion up 3 on Tampa Bay, 3-0. And in penalties, Louisville City is a winner, 5-4 in penalties as they knock off Memphis. And there you do see that Birmingham Legion match. That is a final. And the other 2 matches coming up later tonight. So already upsets across the board. The first weekend, Katie, without question, is the hardest weekend when it comes to advancing, especially if you're a favorite in USL playoffs.
Right. Everyone's bringing 110%. Injuries, you know who you got, but this is where injuries happen in games like these. And, you know, San Antonio FC did it last year. They had the Supporter Shield. They came in and won the final. That's not easy to do. The odds are against you in that situation. So unlucky to see Pittsburgh fall there.
Especially for the season that they had. Here, we're still in search of the first goal, 0-0. And the question is whether there will only be one goal here tonight. San Antonio FC, Colorado Springs Switchbacks. We got more coming up when we return after this.
Right now, get $1,000 bonus cash on a new rugged 2024 Tundra Special Edition. Hurry in today. Toyota Trucks. Let's go places.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors. From savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. HEB Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
0-0 at the half, San Antonio FC and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. The winner moves on to the second weekend of the USL Championship playoffs. The loser sees their season come to an end. Who potentially has the golden goal coming up in the second half? We'll find out in just a moment as we continue along on the opening weekend of the USL Championship playoffs here on ESPN+.
Right now, get $1,000 bonus cash on a new rugged 2024 Tundra Special Edition. Hurry in today. Toyota Trucks. Let's go places.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors. From savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. HEB Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
As we get set to begin the second half here at Toyota Field, San Antonio FC, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, 0-0 here on this gorgeous late October Saturday. A look at the Western Conference bracket before we begin things here in the second half. Again, this is the 4-5 matchup in the Western Conference, and the winner of tonight will advance to play the winner of Sacramento Republic and New Mexico United, a match that is just about to kick off. And on the other side of the bracket, Orange County hosting El Paso. That match just about to kick off tomorrow. San Diego Loyal and Phoenix Rising conclude the opening weekend of action in the USL Championship playoffs. Also one match on the Eastern Conference side tomorrow night. It'll be Charleston Battery hosting Indy 11. So the same 11s for both sides to begin things here in the second half. San Antonio FC will have the ball. And we'll see which side blinks first and which side will go to their bench as well first to try to make an adjustment here. As the second half underway with Katie Goodman and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Who will advance and who will head home? And again, already one upset on the board, and a monumental one at that tonight with the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference, Detroit City, going to Highmark Stadium in downtown Pittsburgh and pulling off the upset 1-0 of the number 1 overall seed Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
That's the thing about playoffs. You never can count anyone out. Upsets, inevitable, bound to happen.
And while this would not necessarily be in the magnitude of that type of upset, it would be an upset in itself if Colorado Springs won, because it'd be the first time in 11 tries winning here at Toyota Field.
Right, and they've already almost found success a couple of times there in that first 45. Doing a great job to find the weak side. They just need to get over there a little bit quicker, and it could be good. San Antonio, they're just so good on the defensive transition, getting back. But you can see they're starting to get a little tired there at the end of that first half.
This is Alan Marcina's 4th consecutive year taking San Antonio FC to the playoffs after taking over in 2020. It was the loss in the conference quarterfinals here at Toyota Field that year to New Mexico United and added extra time. The following year, SAFC would lose in penalties to Orange County, eventual USL champions in 2021. And then in 2022, of course, it all came together for SAFC as they got an opening weekend bye and ran their way through Oakland Roots, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and Louisville City, all here at Toyota Field, en route to capturing their first star in their first USL Cup. It's amazing, Katie. This is the 10th all-time playoff match for SAFC, and 9 of them have been here at Toyota Field.
They really put in the work during season. They've always been an attacking-minded team, even from the beginning, and you know they've earned that spot, that home playoff match, and they're fighting for it because of the crowd here, the energy that these fans bring at Toyota Field. I've talked to these guys multiple times, and I can't tell you how many times they've told me, hey, even the crowd, the energy here will sometimes pump up the other team because it's so good.
There you see the numbers, 6-3 all time for SAFC in the postseason, 6-2 here at Toyota Field with a +11 goal differential. And again for Colorado Springs, this is their 3rd consecutive trip to the USL Championship playoffs, all under the Brendan Burke, Stephen Hogan regime. Their 5th overall trip to the postseason, to the Western Conference final last year for the first time. Speedy Williams out wide, into the box, Jay Chapman, and directed away, and it'll be the second corner, or no, it'll belong back to the keeper, Nick Marsman.
Again, another close call. Something Colorado Springs loves to do is get up in that corner, try to get that ball to the 5 or the 18, looking for the first late run and the second late run, something they're good at. Also Tejada at the front post. That's where you'll find him in the attack.
That's Tejada on the foul. He's sitting on a yellow, remember, as is Fabian Garcia. It was amazing when you looked at the numbers of the first half, Katie. 9 fouls on Colorado Springs, just 4 on SAFC. And SAFC conceded more fouls than any of the 24 teams in USL Championship this season, 540.
Well, they're so dominant there, aerially speaking, even on foot. They almost win all of their duels. That's just their MO and their identity, and with that comes a lot of fouls. Speaking of fouls, Tejada there, coach loves his aggressive style of running, and that's what we just saw there.
Hernandez over the ball. First set piece of the second half belongs to SAFC. Clips a good one in, but it curls its way right to Christian Herrera. Herrera really only tested by the one attempt from Hernandez all the way out from over at the touchline That had him backpedaling and saving the ball, hugging it off the post.
They've picked up on the fact that, you know, when you have a congested 4 in the back, you have to take your shots from out wide. Anything you do has to be with a quickness, including moving up the field like this.
Carter Manley! Bump from behind. No penalty awarded, though. Alan Marcina with a motion to the 4th official, but Eric Tattersall turns aside, as does the center referee, Alexis De Silva.
Great development. Perfect example of that vertical style from San Antonio FC that doesn't always include an air ball. A lot of people have problems with that. Tani on the break.
Flag stays down. Oluwaseyi into the box. And a nice recovery from the veteran James Musa there.
Again, San Antonio putting themselves into some good positions, but just defending a little better here is Colorado Springs.
And a sneaky little run by Carter Manley, too, getting forward. Not a player you necessarily see come up into the attack. Manley has just 4 goals in his professional career, but a pretty good-looking opportunity sitting there for him.
Right, I think that might have been the first time that I've actually seen him make that run ever. His time playing here at SAFC.
So SAFC has actually, as the season gone along, been more dominant in the second half, scoring the opposition by a 2-1 margin in the second half this season. 34 goals for, 17 against. And again, it's been this opening quarter hour coming out of the locker room where SAFC has been so dangerous. 12 goals in this quarter hour, as we're going to get our first substitute of the night. Maybe not surprising, it's Tejada who's going to come off. Again, he's sitting on a yellow, and they'll put Jonas Fjellberg on, former Dayton Flyer and second-round selection of FC Cincinnati back in the 2021 Major League Soccer Super Draft. Other player who came over on loan from Indy 11 back early in the season in early May in exchange for Maka King going the other way.
Already 1 goal and 2 assists here for Colorado Springs as well, and a guy who's just kind of fallen right into the lineup. Got his start last game, but coming off hot on the bench here. Coming off hot from the bench here.
Fjellberg has seen Toyota Field before, spent time with RGV a couple of seasons ago. Musa, Abu. Romario Williams, relatively quiet in the first half. That's a good sign for San Antonio, as Jorge Hernandez will get to the end of this one. Directs it to Tani, and his shot never gets through. A good-looking idea, however, for Jorge Hernandez, as Malik Foster gathers some contact from Mitchell Tainer, and the foul whistled on Tainer.
Moment there, Romario Williams with way too much daylight around him. Could have been really bad there. Well defended. Of course, they build out again. And there's the foul.
Jairo Henriquez dispossessed. That's well done by Fabian Garcia, and he wins a foul as well. Such a steady presence is the 29-year-old. And that's the difference for San Antonio FC this season from last year. Fabian Garcia had to slide into the middle of the 3-back formation on the back line for Alan Marcina. That was Jasser Kamiri's spot, who occupied that in the playoff run a year ago. But Fabian has stepped into that role admirably this year.
Right, he really is the guy for the role, and when he's out, there's not many available who can step in and do what he's done this season. He commands the back line. He's great on defense. But again, lots of depth on the field, but it's different when you have that key center back.
Colorado Springs makes the clearance. And this ball will skip past everyone. Garcia, Maloney, a little bit off there. And how will Colorado Springs play this second half? That'll be an interesting question. Now with Fjellberg on. Fjellberg, as you mentioned, had been a starter the previous couple of matches here. This is dangerous from Herrera. Gives it up. Jorge Hernandez puts it through. San Antonio FC on the Colorado Colorado Springs miscue on the board.
Dan, you called it just in time. This is the goal that has tipped the scales here. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, when San Antonio gets that first goal, their success rate, it's really high. We have to see this one back here. Again, just a bit of a mistouch out of the back. You can attribute that to Tani's pressure there. Jorge to pick it up. He takes that end to the side and finishes there all net.
It's his first goal in the postseason after a tremendous campaign. He's been all over the ball tonight, and not surprising, he's got the opening goal of the 2023 USL Championship playoffs for San Antonio FC. 2 goals on the campaign, and in the 55th minute, he's opened it up for the home side. And to your previous point about San Antonio FC scoring first in the regular season, unbeaten in their last 60 games when they score the opening goal. And that goes back to October 4th of 2020, more than 3 years ago.
Odds slowly tipping in San Antonio's favor, but they can't break focus.
That'll be a foul on the run there for Colorado Springs.
Talk about Jorge Hernandez, the absolute game changer here for San Antonio this season. 10 assists in regular season. Now comes in with his 3rd goal of the season.
The only time San Antonio FC has lost in the playoffs when scoring first was the Western Conference semifinals 6 years ago, back in 2017 against OKC Energy FC. That was a match where they scored early, very early in the 9th minute. Got a Cesar Elizondo goal that went up 1 and then gave up the equalizer in the 86th minute to Vucek Wojciech, and then lost in penalties to end that run, their first ever in USL. But ever since San Antonio has scored the opening goal in the playoffs, it has meant a win.
All great odds to have, but against this Colorado Springs team, you cannot break focus. We saw a very quick counter right after that goal. Already back in it here, but Jorge back in the mix, doing what he does best, pulling defenders. Look, 2 guys on him here. Connor trying to figure out, where do I play this ball? Great check from Tani.
Maloney. And if San Antonio FC can protect this 1-goal lead and advance on the strength of it, then that will be not only a positive sign for SAFC, of course, getting out of the opening weekend, but more reminiscent of the SAFC club that won a championship last year when they got on their front foot and scored the opening goal and then suffocated their opponents on the back end.
Right, this is the exact type of confidence they need if they're going to move forward. The tables are going to turn. It needs to happen now. If there's anything we know about SAFC, you're going to have to pry it from their cold, dead hands at this point. Still a ton of time to go in the second half.
And it certainly makes the personnel changes going forward interesting on both sides of the ball. And what Alan Marcina elects to do, does he look for the second? Does he try to sit on the 1-goal lead and protect that one for the final half hour?
Interesting to see this here. Almost seems like trying to keep this ball in the corner, maybe eat up some time.
Patino, dangerous ball across the face of goal, but it lands at the feet of Skundrich.
Sometimes you get stuck in the corner over there, tend to ball watch when the ball does come through.
Malik Foster. I think that went off of him, and it did. It'll go back to San Antonio. Foster, 4 goals on the campaign, 14 in his USL career. They have the former SAFC striker Deshane Beckford on the bench as well, along with the longtime veteran Aaron Wheeler, who could provide something on the attack. But in truth, Katie, their best players are on the field right now.
That they are. Coach Marcina has his eye on Foster.
Oluwaseyi, a little bit beyond the reach. Patino in a tough angle, able to put it back to the top of the 6-yard box. The clearance, however, made by Colorado Springs.
Could have been an opportunity to chip the back line there. But good vision from Manley, seeing Tawny wasn't on side. It's a nice position there for a set piece.
That's another foul on Colorado Springs and another yellow, the second of the evening. This one to Duke Lacroix as he collects it in the 60th minute.
We'll look back at it here. Yep, missed the ball. All shins in that one. Question is, can San Antonio convert on the set piece? They have not been successful so far. They've really struggled throughout the season on both corners and set pieces. It's a slightly more dangerous position than a corner.
They continue, though, to pile up the shots. 12 of them, and all 14 of their wins in the regular season came when they took more than 10 shots in a game. So the formula has been consistent for Alan Marcina tonight. Again, this is another opportunity here where they can certainly give themselves some insurance, nursing a 1-goal advantage after 1 hour. Hernandez, an in-swinger in this position here with the left foot. And that's headed out of harm's way. Fjellberg can't get to it momentarily. Now he does, with Hernandez harassing him. Fjellberg in trouble, and he concedes possession right there. Him and Chapman just not on the same page in terms of trying to play something out.
Right, seems to be quite a bit of miscommunication, part of what led to that first goal for San Antonio. And they're gonna have to clean that up if they want to stay in this.
And right through Tani Oluwaseyi will be awarded back to Christian Herrera. Just a little under a half hour remaining. San Antonio FC on the board. Jorge Hernandez unassisted in the 55th minute. His first career playoff goal in USL Championship.
Alan Marcina said going into this match, he had 3 players in his eye: Tyreek McGee, Romario Williams, and of course Malik Foster, saying that Foster cannot get on the inside. They did that with Indy 11. And so this game, he really made it a point to share with his guys that you cannot let those guys get on the inside of this formation. Foster, a guy who has lightning fast speed like Tani, as Coach Marcina would have it. Good scrappy hustle here.
Chapman. Speedy Williams, and able to switch the play out wide for Skundrich. And Foster now on that far touchline, running on Shannon Gomez. A little heavy there from Foster, and it's directed out by Tainer. The throw awarded to Colorado Springs. Well played on the right flank, and Colorado Springs Switchbacks able to earn their second corner of the evening.
San Antonio most likely dominant out of the air here, but gotta watch the top of the 18. Quite a few guys parked.
The outswinger Henriquez. A low ball that doesn't cross the first line of defense, and the second ball from Malik Foster is awry of goal.
It's a good idea, good look. Just gotta keep that chest down, driven through the laces, plus tons of traffic there. Sometimes when you have to make a quick decision, there's just a ton of space. All you see is space. And that was up and over Jorge there. So a bit of a miss.
That's to my perspective, it's that first ball from Jairo Henriquez that doesn't get over the first line of defense in Muhammad Abu. That's the first area that's got to be cleaned up for Colorado Springs on those set pieces.
Right, we've seen that a few times here. They're trying to go near post. They've been successful at near post, but it's hard against a stingy defense like SAFC.
Maloney. Speedy Williams. Keeps it moving as he volleys it forward. Tainer upfield. And the flag is up on Santiago Patino.
Good step there from the back line. Pulling him off sides on that one.
Sacramento on the board at home. At Heart Health Park, 1-0 over to Mexico United. Match in the 18th minute. Sacramento wins, San Antonio FC wins. Sacramento will host San Antonio FC a week from tonight. Jairo Henriquez. And a corner awarded to Colorado Springs as that's directed out by SAFC.
Things heating up here for the Switchbacks. Another corner, pretty close in time. San Antonio's got to control this ball, settle it, find a way to get forward. Don't want to test the defense too long.
The goal for Sacramento, courtesy of the defender, Connor Donovan. I mean, unlikely source, but that's the beauty of the playoffs, Katie, is you get unlikely sources for goals, as Connor Maloney beautifully exhibited a year ago.
Right, anything goes here in a playoff setting. Everyone's bringing their best. Unconventionality is appreciated and abundant.
Orange County, El Paso Locomotive will get underway momentarily. That is the 2-7 matchup. The winner of that matchup playing the winner of San Diego Loyal and Phoenix Rising. Everything in the East tonight is finished. And again, the big upset of the evening, Detroit City FC, a 1-0 winner over Pittsburgh Riverhounds. As we take a look at the foul once again here on Colorado Springs. Louisville City advances on penalties as they defeat Memphis 901 FC. And Tampa Bay Rowdies blanked by Birmingham Legion. So the #1 and the #2 seeds both out in the Eastern Conference, Katie, on the opening night of the USL playoffs.
Well, that's going to help whoever meets them there in the West. But again, the playoffs, I think, are where you really prove who's got it and who doesn't. Yes, it's hard to do the work tirelessly day in and day out as you move through season, but everyone elevates in the playoffs. You get the best of everyone's best, and so whoever ends up in that final, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay who've struggled to come out of the East over the last few seasons, and yet it's the old standby Louisville City that finds a way to get through to the second weekend. And a corner here to San Antonio FC, which will be their third of the evening. Both sides, 3 corners on the night. I don't want to say SAFC is necessarily slow playing it here in the second half, but they certainly aren't in a hurry over these last few moments.
It feels very slow, especially when at the beginning here you had Connor throwing it into Jorge. Jorge was pulling defenders in. It almost like looked like it was the final 2 minutes when they were trying to run down time to the corner flag. And then when the ball came across from Patino, everyone was still asleep watching that play go down.
And it might be a moment, and Alan Morcina has often said this, the style for San Antonio FC has been pressing on and off with and without the ball. And these are sometimes the moments, especially when you're up a goal, you get a chance to catch your breath. And these are these moments that you can catch a breath with a 1-goal advantage.
Absolutely, and you know, learning how to work as a unit with those ebbs and flows. Sometimes it'll throw a defender off if maybe a forward isn't making the runs that they normally make.
It's a good run for Jairo Henriquez. Pressure behind him, and he elevates that ball with his right foot over the stadium and out of section 115, Ja'Cory Hayes. We're seeing a little bit of an injury behind the play here as we'll see Jairo Henriquez with the step through there, or Speedy Williams the step through there on Ja'Cory Hayes, and that's where Ja'Cory caught it.
Ooh, that looked like it hurt. Always tough when you have someone's full weight on the bridge of your foot there.
Duke Lacroix will come off in the 69th minute and replaced by Tyreek McGee. That's one of the players that Alan Morcina had his eye on, Katie, that you mentioned. Native of Kingston, Jamaica, who scored 3 times in 24 matches. More of an attacking center midfielder, but certainly one that SAFC will have to have their eyes on here as this second half progresses.
Right, Coach Morcina mentioned he's one of the most talented players in the league from attacking standpoint, creativity standpoint. He's a left footer. You got to force him to the right. Of course, don't let him in the inside because he has that attacking mindset. And again, something that you see at the men's professional level, you see this a ton in MLS too. forwards and center midfielders who've converted to that outside back, wing back situation. Just a really attacking mindset here at this level, because you have to be, everyone on the field has to be able to put it away. Gone are the days of being purely defensive minded.
Mohamed Abu was getting some attention in front of Nick Marsman there as he gets back up to his feet, as does Ja'Cory Hayes, who's in good form right now.
Nice little water break for both teams here. Of course, hydration breaks have stopped since weather has gone below triple digits and high 90s. But man, this Texas weather is so temperamental. Just yesterday started out at 60 degrees in the morning and then dropped all the way to 94 degrees by the heat of the day. So never can tell what's going to happen here in Texas with the weather.
Looks like San Antonio FC is going to get ready to go to their bench here, and wouldn't surprise me if it's Abu, who again has not logged a ton of minutes here over the last couple of months. If he comes off, PC would be a natural substitute in this moment, plays an identical position.
Also a guy who's had minutes in a playoff setting and has been key so many times. He brings a really different mentality, you know, not willing to lose, and also doesn't make, you know, unintelligent fouls either. A guy that you want in those final minutes.
There's the run, first run for Tyreek McGee. And he's unable to get to the end of it. And so yes, PC, 74 appearances with San Antonio FC. And Ish Jome will come on as well too. Jome will come on for Connor Maloney. And PC will come on for Mohamed Abu in the 72nd minute.
Interesting to see Connor Maloney take a seat. Again, a tireless worker, but kind of one of those guys you want on the field as much as possible, especially in a playoff setting. But Ish Jome, he can put in the work. He can make it happen. He has been epic for San Antonio throughout the season.
Really good minutes tonight for Mohamed Abu, considering the fact that he's been absent from the 18 for most of the past 2 months. Got the start tonight and really performed when SAFC needed him the most. Two kind of sitting midfielders between Abu and Ja'Cory Hayes, and it seems like it's paid off tonight to this point for San Antonio FC.
That it has, and we're hitting the 72-minute mark here, so this is around the time when Patino scored against Colorado Springs last. Wouldn't be surprised to see a late goal from him. Still lots of time here for Coach Hogan to make some moves, bring some other players off the bench.
Fjellberg and McGee have both come on in place of Tejada and Duke Lacroix. Colorado Springs is going to need something a little bit more egregious than that to try to earn a penalty here. But again, as mentioned earlier, it was maybe a controversial no call last season in the Western Conference Final. Colorado Springs thought that they had earned a penalty. It was not to be. And this ball does not connect with Malik Foster.
As you can see, McGee has moved there into the center of the field. Such a creative player, very tricky. And that's the thing with San Antonio FC. You saw in their last matchup against Indy 11, they really got caught up in the man marking and defending. They lost a little bit of what makes them them, just playing their game. You haven't seen a ton of that tonight here. Definitely dominating in what they feel comfortable in.
It's a good turn for Tyreek McGee. Jairo Henriquez trying to get it back to him. McGee loses his footing there. Upfield, Taniel Awashe, Santiago Patino alongside him. Santiago holding up on his run.
Man, had Patino on that run all day long.
Instead,
great vision from Jorge to get there in the first place.
It's Ish Jome now over on that left flank. Jome drives it across. Fjellberg Puts it sky high into the air and off the hands of the keeper. And a corner awarded to San Antonio FC.
Tani, relentless. That's the best thing about him is he comes in with that high press, that speed, but he also defends as a center striker. See there, just waiting for that ball to come down, gives it a go and not able to get his hands on it. Herrera has to have sticky gloves in those moments.
Yeah, I think just the pressure and the presence of Tani Oluwaseyi there just puts question marks in the mind of the keeper. Momentary lack of focus may cost Christian Herrera here.
You could tell he was trying to protect his body rather than going up for the ball. You can't have that mindset here, especially in a playoff setting. You have to lay it all on the line.
Hernandez will run flag to flag as time ticks off on this opening night of the USL Championship playoffs. 1-0 San Antonio FC against their longtime rival from Colorado Springs. Unbeaten in their last 10 meetings against Colorado Springs Switchbacks and unbeaten in 10 matches all time here at Toyota Field. Trying to add another one here tonight to advance to the second weekend of the USL playoffs. That's a dangerous ball as it drops in front, but it's cleared away. And then given away by Shannon Gomez to Tyreek McGee. Upfield, Speedy Williams. McGee into the middle of the park. Romario Williams switching the play. Foster able to settle. Skundrich will reset now with Mahoney. Williams. McGee running alongside Speedy Williams and now out wide Jairo Henriquez. Henriquez serves into the box. Fabian Garcia makes the clearance. Speedy Williams gets tangled up there with Santiago Patino. The whistle stays in the pocket of the referee. Skundrich and Foster now out wide. Foster's ball broken up there by Tainer. To the feet of Tani Oluwaseyi.
Great work holding his own on the ball there.
Tani gets upended, trying to make the run. Alan Marcina looking for a yellow.
Really surprised if there is not going to be a card.
There is a yellow coming out. Referee just dropped it.
So many yellows, you start dropping cards out here. He beats him there, gets tripped up, he continues to go, and it's that last hit.
The yellow to Mahoney. In the 78th minute.
And not their first set piece here within these 77 minutes. Something to look forward to if they make it into the next match is how do you clean up these set pieces? Maybe it starts with a little bit more dynamic movement, feet moving before the ball's even distributed. Anything just to lose your defender.
So as Hernandez gets set up, and again playing the clock here a little bit. Hernandez. Ball dropped through. Cleared out as Ja'Cory Hayes. Shannon Gomez. SAFC not necessarily known for knocking the ball around, but they may not necessarily mind that in these last 12 minutes here.
When they need to do it, they can, I think. You can see Jorge calling for it there on the switch. Typically, they take the direct approach, but the guy he gets to both end lines and both sidelines.
Well played from PC there, works it free. Ishjom and Hernandez.
Some great movement up top.
Just crafty with the ball. Jom and Hernandez. And again, very indirect from San Antonio, is now served forward finally into the box there from Tainer, brought down by Herrera.
think they've calmed down a bit. They're trying to find patience and open up passing lanes.
That's a good channel through. Tyreek McGee, heavy on the touch there was Chapman. An unforced error there by the former major leaguer, and then an unforced error by Jorge Hernandez, of all people. Ball back to Colorado Springs. 10 minutes and whatever added time remaining, and there's just been a fast-paced moving match throughout the night. Fjellberg, limited touches since he's come on. Into the box and off of Fabian Garcia will result in the corner for Colorado Springs. It'll be their 4th of the evening.
Going back to that error between PC and Jorge, you can see, let's have a look at this shot first. Well defended. Always scary when it's coming in on that angle and you don't have clear eyes on it. He had a little bit of time there, might have been able to get a touch in with a clearance. Still works out for him here.
Send Chapman out now here to take the corner. An in-swinger in this instance. Good ball from Chapman. And headed out, Foster. Jairo Henriquez gives it a go, doesn't come cleanly through. Oluwaseyi is trying to turn and he concedes. Henriquez off the head, off of Marsman, and has to be played out by San Antonio, and a corner awarded. Colorado Springs wants to get a substitute on for this instance, and Aaron Wheeler, and they're going to go to Wheeler here.
Doing what he does best. Great service in the deflection. Makes Nick Marsman have to react with the quickness, and Carter Manley's just been absolutely phenomenal here tonight. Again, using his head to get it out of harm's way or to put it into play. Just one of those quality players that you want on the field at all times.
So the attacker Wheeler is on, Chapman is off. Wheeler does give them some size here, 6'4", especially in these moments, and tried to make the run late, but never got to the end of the service. And now Colorado Springs trying to press. McGee into the box looking for Wheeler. Defended out. Speedy Williams back into the box. Wheeler is there. Wheeler, their super sub, turning, going to the byline, keeping it in play, taking off the ball. Foul, a late whistle for the center referee, and a yellow for dissent on PC.
It's one of those situations, you have all of San Antonio swarming him there in the moment. 3 guys on him, not necessarily to body check him in that moment. Watch it back, doing good, holding himself off the ball. He's got a couple shoves in there himself. PC just shielding from the ball there. Could go both ways on that one.
I think where PC and SAFC was upset was the delay in the call. SAFC already had the ball, was looking to come on the counter, and then the whistle blew. PC gets a yellow for dissent here in the 83rd minute. Colorado Springs now on an indirect free kick. A very indirect free kick.
Got Speedy Williams camped out top of the 18. Can definitely put it away from there. Wouldn't be surprised if that ball lands right at his feet.
SAFC had a similar spot back in the first half. Let's see what Switchbacks decide to do here. To the back post. Headed, great save off the line. The rebound chance kept out too.
Nick Marsman with an incredible save. Tani with the counter.
And Tani goes down. Colorado Springs back in possession. Off of Fabian Garcia as it comes out wide. Speedy Williams. Through Tyreek McGee, couldn't handle it cleanly, and San Antonio FC just content to drive it forward.
His clearances have to be better from San Antonio, especially as they move in through playoffs. We've seen a couple of weak clearances or just non-directed clearances.
That takes a deflection. Good step forward there by Matt Mahoney. Spots Fjellberg. Fjellberg trying to drive one through and defend it out. Colorado Springs able to continue to move it forward, and this is volleyed back towards Nick Marsman. He'll settle it cleanly. Taniel Awashei is down on the pitch.
Ball in the air quite a bit. Wouldn't be surprised if you see Nacho Bailoni in the mix. Man of the hour. Like he's coming to the substitution line as we speak. Give Tani a break. Seems to be cramping here.
Take a look again at the last chance for Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and maybe their best of the night. I want to say Ja'Cory Hayes got in front of Nick Marsman there to save that off the line.
Man, an absolute stellar group effort.
Oh
yes,
my God.
It was Ja'Cory Hayes, not once but twice. Changed his position to goalkeeper because not the first time he's been there and successfully blocked a goal on the end line.
You got Shannon Gomez and Ja'Cory Hayes who both saved it off the line here tonight for San Antonio FC. Total team effort in front of Nick Marsman. How can they see it through here for the final 5+ minutes?
Aaron Wheeler, quite the game changer for Colorado Springs as well. Since he stepped on the field, they've had some really quality, clear attacking opportunities.
Well, he is their super sub, so to speak, even though he did not score in the regular season, just because of that height at 6'4", in a position where they don't have very much, just kind of changes the game. As he volleys that one down, and Marsman able to come up with it ahead of Romario Williams. And much like SAFC did last year in eliminating Mishi Galina from the match, they've done just about the same tonight with Romario Williams. The 15-goal scorer has had limited opportunities. They're going to call that, I think, a handball on Hernandez.
Wise to get into play quick. You know, Dan, I thought Nacho Bailoni was coming on right away for Tani, but looks like they'll hold him a bit and give Tani another chance.
One rides out on him. The throw to Switchbacks. McGee. He can't keep it in play. Back to San Antonio in the 88th minute.
Again, changes the game here for San Antonio as well. Tons of height is what Nacho Bailoni brings to this SAFC lineup, and he is great off the bench.
Bailoni made 28 appearances this season, 17 of them coming off the bench. Scored 5 times in the regular season. Foul here on Skundrich. Twisting up Jorge Hernandez, who's got the lone goal here tonight for SAFC. Came in the 55th minute and really came on the one mistake you could argue has been made by both teams tonight. The one true mistake that had resulted in an opportunity. As you see the foul here from Skundrich. But again, if the mistake isn't made by the keeper Herrera, we could still be sitting 0-0 here as we come upon full time.
Right, and that's what it comes down to here at this point in the playoff setting. The margin of error is so small that even one little mishap will make all the difference between who moves on into the next game.
And for, again, a club that scored a league best 63 times, the most in club history. As James Musa went after Lamar Batista on the SAFC bench. Trying to get the ball, put it back into play, and now the referee with words for the SAFC bench players there.
You know you want to win when you're stirring it up from the bench.
And a foul here on Santiago Patino. Again, there's Batista. He's just now off to the side.
Ready to pitch in if he has to.
To help any way he can. Colorado Springs on the reset. Musa off of PC.
Dan, you talked about San Antonio's season high 63 goals. And for Colorado Springs to keep them at bay so far, that's really impressive. Almost an own goal.
Well, James Musa, after the foul was whistled, in visible frustration, just took a kick and just drove it to the heavens, so to speak, here on this October Saturday. You get 6 minutes of added time.
Back at this foul. Had both hands on the shoulders, understandable foul.
And watch Musa right here. He's had enough.
You know, I'd rather him take his frustration out on the ball than in anywhere else. Better to let it out, as they say.
He's got to keep his composure, though. It's still 6 minutes to go. And the visitor's not done just yet. Jairo Henriquez, you know, he's got a flair for the dramatics at this point in the match, too. James Musa was given a yellow for those annex. Hernandez trying to spot Patino. Just couldn't finish the run. Herrera comes up with it. Mahoney. Herrera upfield for Wheeler. Ball won by SAFC, landing back here to Speedy Williams. Jairo Henriquez, Williams, Skundrich, kind of falling back into a back three now here. Have the visitors. Ja'Cory Hayes. Patino onside, looking to finish off the visitors. Patino across, back to Santiago and saved. And it'll go out for a corner to San Antonio.
The ball, but what a slide tackling save there from Skundrich, keeping his team somewhat in it.
And then the second one right there from Mahoney.
Defending like their life depends on it at this point.
And it does. 3.5 minutes to play.
San Antonio only heating up even more.
As the fans rise to their feet, San Antonio in absolutely no hurry to do anything.
Getting testy with the ref there. I think he thought the ball wasn't called in their favor. It is.
Back to the keeper, Herrera, who's just going to try to boot this one forward.
He's telling everyone, get forward.
And again, spotting Wheeler. And it's Marsman. We'll bring it down. Halfway through added time. And now San Antonio FC with Tainer going to ground.
Also looked like a little bit of a hit on Marsman after the fact. Trying to get that ball knocked loose there from him. We'll have to look back at it to see what happened there for Mitch.
He's back to his feet.
Look back at it here. Gets his head involved. Looks like an elbow into the face. Oh. Almost looked like there was a hit after the fact, but I think it just took him a minute. When he stood up, looked like he was fixing his contact, so that might have been what happened there.
That's off of Musa and back to San Antonio. They can start to taste it here. Just a little over 2 minutes or so remaining. SAFC looking to move through. They'd face the winner of Sacramento Republic and New Mexico United, which right now is Republic up 1-0 at home. It's Patino to Bailoni. unable to finish and put the game away.
Man, so close, so unselfish of Patino there to hand it over to Bailoni. Second time they were almost successful. Let's have a look at it. What a chip into space from Jorge, and just can't quite get there as Nacho.
So leaves the door open for the visitors, but time is winding down. Musa up with Patino. And a foul on James Musa. Dangerous play with that high boot.
No chance to send the ball to the heavens this time. Next lunar eclipse here in San Antonio. Have a look back at it. Yep, boot is high. Carried down by Patino though. That's where his discussion with the ref came into play.
Off by Bailoni. Hernandez. Hernandez, edge of the box, drives one in. That's offside. Patino off. They're past the allotted 6 minutes of added time. Had a couple of players on the ground. There may be another minute or so remaining to account for that stoppage. Let's see. Fjellberg able to earn a throw for Colorado Springs. Quickly they go. They need service into the box. Fjellberg can't get much of anything with that left foot. San Antonio FC survives and advances. They have vanquished Colorado Springs for the 11th consecutive time, unbeaten. And now 9-0-2 lifetime against their rivals here at Toyota Field as SAFC, the defending champions, is on to the second weekend of the USL Championship playoffs.
We knew it was going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. That first 45, absolutely a stalemate match. Colorado Springs brought their best, but moving into that second half, San Antonio dominated all the way. I mean, so interesting here to see how Patino actually turns the heat up in those final 5-10 minutes. So close to success, both he and Nacho Bailoni, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that they got the one goal, that they got the win, and that they're moving on once again.
And they get a clean sheet. It was a vintage SAFC performance tonight, similar of their run through the USL playoffs a year ago. And SAFC now 7-3 lifetime in the postseason, 7-2 here at Toyota Field. But they may have to go on the road next Saturday night, pending the outcome of what happens in Sacramento. They'll play the winner of Republic and New Mexico United. That game is still going. Tonight, though, the night at Toyota Field belongs to Jorge Hernandez at SAFC. He gets the only goal in this one to the 55th minute off the miscue, and San Antonio FC a 1-0 winner over Colorado Springs as they survive and advance to next Saturday night. Now for Katie Goodman and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss saying so long. This has been a presentation of USL Championship at Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So long, everybody.
Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.